Everything you've been taught about attraction is a lie. If you're tired of being ghosted, ignored, or stuck chasing people who never seem to care, then stick around. What I'm about to share will flip your understanding of relationships completely upside down. But fair warning, this isn't for the faint-hearted. Ready to discover the truth? Let's dive in. In a world where everyone tells you to be nice and always available, it's no wonder you feel overlooked or taken for granted. Here's the hard truth: being nice isn't working. What I'm about to reveal might challenge everything you believe about relationships, but if you stay with me, you'll learn how to flip the script, control attraction, and finally stop chasing those who don't deserve your time. By the end of this video, you'll have the tools to make them chase you instead, and it all starts with understanding human psychology and mastering Stoicism. Let's break it down. 1. The power of ignoring. Why it works? You've been misled your entire life about how to gain attention. Society tells us that to earn someone's love, affection, or respect, we must show them how much we care by chasing after them and showering them with attention to prove our worth. But here's the kicker: the more you chase, the more they run. It's counterintuitive, right? Yet the power of ignoring is one of the strongest psychological tools at your disposal. Master it, and you'll never view relationships the same way again. Consider this: in today's world, everyone is competing for attention. Social media is flooded with people vying for likes, follows, and comments. When someone posts a picture, their phone buzzes with notifications. They have people sliding into their DMs, trying to grab their attention 24/7. So if you're just another voice in the crowd, another text in their inbox, what makes you stand out? The answer is nothing. Here's the hard truth: attention only holds value when it's scarce. When someone knows they can get your attention whenever they want, it becomes worthless. But when you withhold it, when you make them work for it, suddenly you become valuable. They start thinking about you, obsessing over why you're not chasing them like everyone else. They begin to question what makes you so special that you don't need their validation. And guess what? That's when they start chasing you. The power of ignoring isn't about being rude or dismissive. It's about creating space and making yourself rare in a world where everyone is available all the time. This scarcity drives desire. It's like luxury brands that limit their stock. When something is hard to get, people want it more. Next time you feel the urge to text someone constantly, pause and ask yourself, what message am I sending by being this available? Instead of reaching out, give them space. Let them come to you. This isn't about playing games. It's about recognizing that people value what they have to work for. Use the rule of scarcity to your advantage, especially in the early stages of getting to know someone. Intentionally pull back at times. Don't always be available to hang out. Don't respond to texts right away, and don't always be the first to reach out. This creates intrigue and makes them more interested in getting your attention. You're not ignoring them to be mean. You're showing that your attention is a rare and valuable thing. Have you ever noticed that when someone is too eager to get your attention, it turns you off? Maybe they text you too much or seem overly available, giving off desperate vibes. Conversely, when someone is confident enough to give you space, you start wondering about them more. You think about them more often. That's because creating space or ignoring makes you appear more valuable. There's a principle called the scarcity affect. When something is perceived as rare, it becomes more desirable. This applies to products, opportunities, and yes, even people. By limiting your availability and attention, you position yourself as a scarce resource, which naturally draws people toward what they can't easily have. 2. Emotional triggers. Now, let's talk about emotional triggers. Attraction isn't about logic. It's not about how much money you have, how good you look, or how well you treat someone. Attraction is all about emotions. Think back to your most intense relationships or crushes. Were they calm and logical, or were they filled with intense feelings, sometimes even chaos? The truth is, emotions drive everything in relationships. People don't fall in love for rational reasons, they fall in love because of how you make them feel. If you want to create attraction, you need to master the art of emotional triggers. But here's the catch, it's not just about making someone feel good all the time. That's a common mistake. Many think that showering someone with compliments, gifts, and attention will win them over. But guess what? Too much positivity can actually be a turnoff. It's the emotional roller coaster, the highs and lows, that creates the strongest attraction. People crave excitement, suspense, and the feeling of being on a journey with you, not a smooth, boring ride. So, how do you trigger emotions? You mix things up, keep them guessing. One day, you're all in, giving them your full attention and making them feel amazing. The next day, you pull back a bit, give them space, and make them wonder why you're not as available. This push and pull dynamic is key. Use unpredictability to your advantage. Don't always be available, and don't always give the same level of attention. When you mix things up, you trigger emotional responses like curiosity, excitement, and even a little frustration. These emotions, when combined, create intense attraction. Think about it. Have you ever been in a situation where someone was giving you all their attention one moment and then suddenly pulled back? How did that make you feel? Chances are you became more interested in them. You started thinking about them more and wondering why their behavior changed. That's the power of emotional triggers. This concept is rooted in something called intermittent reinforcement. It's the same principle that keeps people addicted to slot machines. You don't win every time, but when you do, it's a high that keeps you coming back for more. In relationships, when you provide emotional highs followed by moments of uncertainty, people become hooked on the unpredictability. They keep returning because they never know what they're going to get next. Three, high-value behavior, the art of detachment. Let's shift gears and discuss high-value behavior, specifically the art of detachment. In today's world, everyone seems to be trying to prove their worth. Social media is packed with people flaunting their achievements, showing off their relationships, and trying to impress others. But here's the reality. Real value doesn't need to be proven. Real value is self-evident, and that's where detachment comes in. High-value individuals don't chase after others. They don't beg for attention, overinvest in people who aren't reciprocating, and they definitely don't make anyone else the center of their universe. High-value people are detached. This doesn't mean they don't care, it means they understand their worth and don't need constant validation to feel good about themselves. Detachment is attractive because it exudes confidence. It shows that you're secure in who you are and that you don't need anyone to complete you. When you embody detachment, people are naturally drawn to you because you're not giving off desperate energy. Instead, you radiate the energy of someone who is valuable, focused on their own life, and not chasing after anyone's approval. Stop trying to prove your value to others. Focus on building a life that makes you proud. Work on your fitness, career, hobbies, and mental health. When you're living a fulfilling life, you won't feel the need to chase after others because your value will speak for itself. Practice detachment in your relationships. Don't cling to someone who isn't reciprocating your efforts. Don't hesitate to walk away from people who don't see your worth. When you detach from the outcome, you gain control of the dynamic, and that's incredibly attractive. Have you ever noticed how people who desperately seek attention often get ignored? Meanwhile, those who are busy pursuing their goals and focused on their own lives tend to attract more attention. That's the power of detachment. When you're not fixated on seeking approval, you become more attractive to others. There's a psychological concept called self-validation. Individuals who practice self-validation don't need others to make them feel worthy. They know their worth, and that confidence makes them magnetic. When you detach from needing validation from others, you radiate a sense of high value that pulls people in. 4. Mastering subtle influence. Now, let's dive into the concept of subtle influence. This is where things get really interesting. And no, I'm not talking about manipulating people for your own gain. I'm referring to understanding human psychology so deeply that you can subtly influence others in a way that benefits both of you. Influence isn't about forcing someone to do what you want. It's about guiding them toward an outcome that you desire, all while keeping their best interests in mind. Think about every interaction you have with someone. There's an exchange of power happening, whether you realize it or not. You're either influencing them or they're influencing you. Those who understand the art of influence are often the ones who seem to effortlessly get what they want in life. So, how does subtle influence work? It's not about grand gestures or overt manipulation. It's about the little things, the way you make eye contact, the tone of your voice, and the boundaries you set. These small, almost invisible cues influence how people perceive you and respond to you. Start practicing subtle influence in your daily interactions. One of the easiest ways to do this is through body language. Stand tall, keep your shoulders back, and maintain eye contact. Confident body language sends a powerful message without you having to say a word. Another technique is mirroring. People are naturally drawn to those who are similar to them. When you subtly mirror someone's body language or tone of voice, you create a subconscious connection that makes them feel more comfortable around you. But be careful. This has to be subtle. If they notice you copying them, it can come off as creepy instead of influential. Think about someone you know who always seems to get their way. They don't yell, argue, or force their opinions on others, yet somehow they end up getting what they want. That's because they understand the art of subtle influence. They know how to guide conversations, project confidence, and make others feel like agreeing with them is the best option. The psychology behind this is rooted in something called social proof. People are more likely to follow the lead of someone they perceive as confident and self-assured. When you project an image of confidence and control, others will naturally follow your lead without you having to force anything. It's about creating an environment where they want to do what you want because they trust your judgment. 5. How self-control amplifies attraction. Next, let's discuss self-control and how it amplifies attraction. We live in a world where emotions are often on full display. Whether it's through social media, texting, or real-life interactions, people frequently react, vent, and let their feelings take control. Here's the thing, the more reactive you are, the less control you have, and the less control you have, the less attractive you become. Stoic calmness is one of the most powerful traits you can develop. It's the ability to remain composed regardless of what's happening around you. It means controlling your emotions instead of letting them dictate your actions. When you master this skill, you become a force to be reckoned with. People are naturally drawn to those who stay calm under pressure. Think about it. When everyone around you is losing their cool, the person who remains composed stands out. They become the leader, the one others look to for guidance and strength. That calmness, your emotional discipline, is incredibly attractive because it signals confidence and control. The next time you feel yourself getting emotional, whether it's anger, frustration, or even excitement, pause, take a deep breath, and give yourself a moment to process before reacting. This small act of self-control can completely change how people perceive you. Aim to be the calmest person in the room, whether you're at work, with friends, or in a heated discussion. Your stoic calm will make you stand out as someone who is in control and confident. Have you ever been in a situation where everyone was panicking or reacting emotionally, but there was one person who remained calm? That person instantly becomes the most attractive and respected individual in the room. That's the power of stoic calmness. When you can control your emotions, you become the person others look to for strength. This concept ties into something called emotional contagion. People tend to mirror the emotions of those around them. When you're calm, others will feel calmer in your presence. Conversely, if you're reactive, others will become reactive too. By mastering Stoic calmness, you influence the emotional state of everyone around you, making you more attractive and respected. 6. Confidence through silence. Let's explore the idea of silence and its role in building attraction. Most people struggle with silence. They panic, thinking it means something is wrong, or they feel compelled to fill the gap with meaningless chatter. However, being comfortable with silence signals immense confidence. It shows that you don't need to be the center of attention all the time and that you're secure in yourself. Silence speaks volumes. It communicates more than any words could. In relationships, being comfortable with silence can be a game changer. When you hold back, when you don't rush to respond, it creates a kind of tension, the good kind of tension that keeps people interested. Think about this. The more you speak, the more you reveal. The more you reveal, the less mystery there is about you. And mystery is what keeps people coming back for more. Imagine you're texting someone new. Instead of replying instantly to every message, you take your time. When you do respond, your answers are thoughtful, engaging, yet brief. This keeps the other person guessing, wondering when they'll hear from you next, and thinking about you in the meantime. In this context, silence becomes a weapon. It creates anticipation, and anticipation turns into attraction. Try this next time you're in a conversation, whether in person or over text. When someone asks you a question, take a pause before answering. Look them in the eyes and let them feel the weight of your presence. This pause creates suspense, and suspense heightens attraction. When you reveal everything about yourself too soon, your thoughts, feelings, and entire life story, you strip away the element of mystery. You become an open book, and let's face it, people rarely get excited about reading a book when they already know the ending. Mystery is powerful because it keeps people engaged. When someone doesn't know everything about you, their curiosity is piqued. They want to know more. The less you give them, the more they crave. Combine that with a little distance, and you become irresistible. This isn't about playing games, it's about understanding human nature. The more someone feels they can't fully have you, the more they will want you. Consider how often people overshare on social media, posting pictures, status updates, and personal thoughts for anyone to see. Now, imagine someone who doesn't do that, someone who keeps parts of their life private. Instantly, they become more intriguing, right? That's the power of mystery. Keep parts of yourself to yourself, especially in the early stages of a relationship. Don't rush to share personal details. Let them earn your trust. The slower you reveal who you are, the longer you keep their interest. 8. Rejection as power. Let's dive into a topic that most people dread: rejection. It's uncomfortable, right? No one likes to face it. But what if I told you that rejection could actually be one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal? Most people fear rejection because they take it personally. They think it reflects their worth. However, here's the truth. Rejection is never about you. It's about the other person's preferences, biases, or even their emotional baggage. Once you grasp this concept, rejection becomes less about you and more about circumstance. Here's where the power comes in. It's how you respond to rejection that truly matters. Most people get upset, feel rejected, and might even lash out. But the real winners, the high-value individuals, flip the script. They handle rejection with grace and confidence. Instead of reacting emotionally, they shrug it off and move on. That attitude is incredibly attractive. It shows that your self-worth isn't tied to someone else's opinion. Imagine you ask someone out and they decline. Most people would take that as a blow to their ego. Instead of sulking, though, you smile, say, "No problem," and walk away confidently. By doing this, you demonstrate that you're not desperate. You're confident enough to handle rejection. And guess what? That person is going to remember how you handled it. They might even second guess their decision later on. Every time you face rejection, use it as an opportunity to showcase your emotional resilience. The more you master this response, the more attractive you become. It's not about the rejection itself, it's about how you handle it. Number 9. Manipulation or strategy. Now, let's navigate the fine line between manipulation and strategy when it comes to using psychology in relationships. Some people might argue that using psychological techniques is manipulation. But here's where the distinction lies. Manipulation involves deceiving someone to get what you want without regard for their feelings or well-being. Strategy, on the other hand, is about understanding how people think and using that knowledge to navigate relationships in a way that benefits both parties. When you understand human psychology, you can create situations where attraction naturally grows. This isn't manipulation, it's playing the game smartly. However, you must keep ethics in mind. You're not trying to trick someone into liking you. Instead, you're leveraging your knowledge to create a dynamic where both people are invested. For example, instead of constantly seeking validation from your partner, you might strategically pull back at times, creating space for them to come to you. You're not doing this to manipulate. You're fostering a healthier balance in the relationship where both individuals give and receive equally. Always check your intentions. If your goal is mutual respect and attraction, you're employing strategy, not manipulation. But if your aim is purely selfish, you might be crossing into manipulation territory. Keep it ethical and you'll see the best results. 10. Balancing confidence and vulnerability. We've talked a lot about confidence, detachment, and emotional control, but here's the final piece of the puzzle: vulnerability. Now, I know that might sound contradictory, but hear me out. Confidence is attractive because it shows strength, while vulnerability is attractive because it showcases humanity. When you learn to balance the two, you become unstoppable. Many people fear showing vulnerability because they believe it makes them appear weak. However, being vulnerable, when done from a place of strength, makes you more relatable and attractive. It demonstrates that you're confident enough in yourself to admit your flaws, express your emotions, and be authentic. Picture this: you're in a conversation with someone, and instead of trying to present yourself as perfect, you admit that you've struggled with something in the past, maybe a fear, a failure, or an insecurity. But here's the key: you're not looking for pity or validation, you're simply being honest. That honesty, combined with your confidence, creates a deeper connection. It shows that you're real, that you're human, and that's incredibly attractive. Don't be afraid to let your guard down sometimes. The key is to do it from a place of confidence. When you show that you're comfortable with your vulnerabilities, it fosters a sense of connection with others, and that connection is where attraction thrives. Conclusion: taking control of your story. You've just unlocked the secrets that most people will never even consider when it comes to relationships and attraction. Now, it's up to you. Will you continue doing what everyone else is doing, or will you take control of your own story? The power is in your hands. Remember, attraction isn't solely about what you say, it's about what you don't say. It's about understanding what truly works and having the courage to act on it. So, the question remains, are you ready to take control? If this video opened your eyes, don't stop here. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, and consider joining our channel memberships to support us in creating high-quality content like this. I'd love to hear from you. What's the biggest insight you're walking away with today? Drop it in the comments below and let's discuss how you plan to apply it. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember that you have the power to shape your own relationships and attract the right people into your life.